wood in front.
Watch how close he comes to nailing this very difficult spare. Talking about accommodating the crowd, when we come, our taping sessions usually begin around 10 o'clock in the morning, and the crowd starts arriving around 9 o'clock in the morning, and they have a great time when they get here, and it's just a terrific atmosphere as you get a look at the crowd over the boulder's shoulder here at Leda Lanes. Second mark in 4 boxes for Mike Morgan. Brian Uphold is working on a spare.
What do you think about that wood? How helpful is it on the right side?
I'm not sure. I think I might just try to bounce it off the wood on the left. No, he's trying it that way. Well, maybe he was more right than I would have been.
Well, Brian Uphold is up against a strike now. Mike Morgan's first strike of today's show.
Triple strike carryover is up to $700. Well, the wood is angled in such a, well, that front wood now I'm not sure.
I think he's got a pretty good shot at that. A little more to the right of the front wood. There it is.
Took it off the board. The spare up against the strike. A virtual dead heat through 4 frames for these 2 fine bowlers. Mike Morgan working on a strike. Gary Carrington and Joe Ashline are the 2 champions thus far in our Tournament of Champions, winning their respective series.
Working on a strike, so we'll hold off on any bonus pins based on the second ball, the 1, the 2, and the 4.
Yeah, he missed the head pin, but as you heard from the crowd, he did get a break on leaving a makeable shot. But he missed the head pin going high on the other side. .62.5 for Mike Morgan.
The last 2 weeks, Mike Morgan's first games have been 147 and 145. He's going to have to go to get that with a 62.5 in this first match. He's a notorious fast starter. At least that's been the history the past 2 weeks.
Again, a makeable shot. The key being here, take the head pin.
But not too full. Never a doubt about that shot. The 1, the 3, and the 10.
Watch it again as he played it perfectly in the 1-3 pocket. Now Brian Uphold working on a spare.
Do it. Come on, work. Get over there and help.
Nothing more annoying than parallel wood, like you've got right there. The 4, 5, and then the 7 and the 8, when you have a reasonably good pocket hit.
And then wrap the wood around.
Get a bunch.
9 bucks. Watch the wood wrap around the 5 pin and take nothing. Almost impossible when you look at it.
Yeah, defying physics.
Second pocket hit will leave him 7. And a piece of dead wood out beyond the line will be removed. Our official score here for the crowd is Chris Beauvert at Leda Lanes.
Very fine professional bowler in his own right, a young man who was ranked 17th last year among all professionals in the WCBC. That's based on all the tournaments they bowl and the number of pins. And he's up with some pretty good company. And like we say almost every week, it's a matter of time till he goes from the scoreboard to the lanes to be competing for the money.
69 through 6 boxes for Brian Uphold. Mike Morgan has 72 plus a ball. Deep in concentration.
Some very friendly wood on this wide open split.
Sure does set it up nicely, doesn't it? Looks like you just have to hit that head pin on the right side.
Didn't get quite enough of it to keep this match within a mark.
One thing we noticed about Mike Morgan as we watched this attempt at a spare and that would fly by the 8-pin there is that he doesn't leave very many pins standing. If he doesn't get a mark, he usually gets a 10.
You're right. He's left only one pin this game so far. That was in the second frame. But you're right.
Yes, yes, go. Come on. Oh, there you go. What a nice ball that was, Mike. Come on, baby, right at it. What do you think? You're a spread eagle? Come on, here.
Crowd getting all over Mike. Well, it could have been another split.
I think the lead cheerleader back there is Brother Tom, is it not?
It is. It is. I don't know if folks can hear all the things that we can hear right here at the scoring table, but
There's a strike for Brian Uphold in no uncertain terms. Watch it again. Right in the pocket. Good action.
Nice spot for a double, Gibby. Yeah.
Right on the head pin.
Shove in, Brian.
yeah.
Ryan goes to a knee,
All over, Brian.
trying to help it down.
That one had double written all over it. I'm not sure how the 6-pin stayed up.
Come on, give me some, Brian. Come on.
And a skip lobbed it, causing the ball to go to the right.
All right.
98. Mike Morgan has 98 plus a ball, so whatever Mike Morgan gets on this ball will be his lead in the game. He leads by 9.
He did the strike dance. Didn't work this time. I think the pin is frozen on the 5.
Yeah, which means it takes it no matter where you hit it.
Should. We'll find out in a second here. But he hit it directly enough that there was never any doubt.
5th mark in the first string for Mike Morgan. 117 plus a ball. And an opportunity for bonus money.
Four pins on the spare.
He has 125 at the moment. A 130 first game for Mike Morgan.
Down a little bit from the last 2 weeks in his first games of 147 and 145. But 130 is just a little above his average of 126.
Come on. There you go, Brian. No break.
Brian right on the head pin. And a spare leave.
Pair of spares, and he'll probably take this match.
The wood continues to move. Now it settles in. I'll tell you, there's not much room between that deadwood and that pin for that ball to fit through.
I thought I saw the breeze from the ball just slightly move the deadwood on the left.
10 box. 108.
And a mark will keep him within just pins of leader Mike Morgan.
But a tough leave.
The double pinochle, 4-6, 7-10. Wood on the right.
Well, he spun the wood nicely, gave it a shot. .118, a 12-pin lead after one for Mike Morgan as you watch the bowlers. For game one, a 12-pin lead for Mike Morgan, 130 to 118 over Brian Uphold. Candlepin Stars and Strikes continues from Leda Lanes in Nashua on WNDS TV 50. The response to the bonus ball contest on Candlepin Stars and Strikes is always outstanding, and we are encouraging you to participate by sending in your postcard to Leda Lanes, 340 Amherst Street, Nashua, 03063. Make sure you include your name, address, and pick a number from 1 to 10. Our winning bowler after every match will roll a ball, and if the number you pick matches the number he gets, you'll be our winner. So get your postcard into bonus ball contest, care of Leda Lanes, 340 Amherst Street, Nashua, New Hampshire, 03063. Ready to go with game number two is Brian Uphold, trailing by 12 pins, will be our first bowler in the second game.
Make it go, Brian.
Big split. Sideways triangle on the right. 3 pins on the left.
Try, get the sticks.
Well, we have seen, Michael, that a 12-pin lead after one game is certainly not something that can't be overcome.
When you're bowling against Mike Morgan, that's always the case. Of course, he's got the 12-pin advantage here.
But we saw last week or the week before in Mike's matches with Bruce Young and Glenn LeBlanc how much of a roller coaster
That's true.
this game can be.
Brian is very active with the WCBC, World Candlepin Bowling. On the Pro Tour, finished 5th at Academy Lanes in the tournament that was held back in September. That's his best finish so far in the competition this year. There's about 6 tournaments a year that run roughly fall to the spring, and that was the tournament they had back in September.
Mike Morgan, a 131st string. Neither bowler able to win any bonus money in the first game.
That's a rarity based on the last couple of weeks when that's been the big game for money. Sitting atop the ladder next week is that guy's brother, his big brother, Tom Morgan.
Oh, it might still go. Nope, it won't go. You can always tell a good bowling crowd when they talk about get the stick and get them all the pins, or get over. They're yelling for the pins. They're rooting for the pins to get over.
They know the bowling vernacular.
Yeah. This is not the first match that most of these people have ever seen.
Yeah, a wall of people behind the bowlers, as you can see, 3 or 4 deep, and then several off to the right of your screen that you can't see.
Mike Morgan up a pin and a ball in the game. And Brian Uphold. Gets a break with the 7-pin falling. 4 horsemen on the right side. Just missed the head pin.
The 2 boards to the left, and he would have had that. Took out the 3-6, the 1 and the 10 remain. Same place. 8 pins.
Brian's last appearance on TV a couple of years back on the Skin Show on Channel 50. He's been on about 9 times on Channel 50 prior to this, and nearly 20 times with Don Gillis.
Again, not missing by much. As soon as he readjusts some of those shots, he'll be right on top of things. But take a 10, and that's it for that frame.
4 boxes without a mark in the second string for Brian Uphold. Now Mike Morgan working on a spare. He had a chance to increase his lead.
For that 10 ball one time. Come on, Mike. Mikey, flash it right here, buddy.
He had a couple of 2-pin fills last week in spares. Just grabbed the head pin going by.
Only 1 bad ball. Don't worry about it. Come on.
The triangle, the diamond on the right, 7-pin all by itself on the left, the toughest of the 5.
7 box. That is a rarity for Mike Morgan.
Yeah, we were talking last string that he seldom leaves a pin up, but he's left 4 standing in 3 frames. There's the 4 horsemen again on the right side.
Just by the head pin.
And the door remains open quite wide for Brian Uphold, who has yet to take advantage of this lack of scoring punch from Mr. Morgan.
10 box, 2-pin lead in the game, 14-pin lead in the match for Mike Morgan over Brian Uphold as Candlepin Stars and Strikes continues from Leda Lanes in Nashua on WNDS TV 50. Welcome back to Leda Lanes in Nashua. Dick Lutz with Mike Moore, an afternoon drive personality on WZID 95.7 FM radio in Manchester. And we're happy to have you with us. Brian Uphold and Mike Morgan. Brian Uphold trailing by 14 pins in the match.
It's a very doable split.
Oh, that's a nice shot. He needed that one. He really did.
He's going to need everyone against Mike Morgan. Tough 5-pin fill with the 4 horsemen right side and the 8-pin in the back to make things even more challenging for him.
Just by the head pin. Michael was telling me something between matches that that your daughter was a very successful candlepin bowler for many years.
Yeah, as a teenager, she's found other activities now, but she was the state all-events champion in her category, her age category, a couple of years ago, back-to-back. So, you know, give a father an opportunity to brag about his child.
Bowling right here at Leda Lanes?
That's right, yeah. More people know her than know me here. She's got a lot of friends. And I would imagine when her life settles after college, maybe she'll take it up again. It's a great activity for kids.
And they do a great job with the youth program here at Leda Lanes. They have a very well-organized program.
I'm glad you mentioned that. Mrs. Belanger does a wonderful job. I think they've got 3 shifts of kids on Saturday morning into the afternoon. And the place is just filled with wall-to-wall kids, which is a testament to the fact that they do work the program and give the kids individual attention when they need it. They're not all over the kids constantly, but some gentle encouragement or pointers from time to time.
Now, how old was your daughter when she really became serious about it?
I was doing a lot of bowling, especially in the late 80s, and she'd come with me everywhere. So I would say from about 7 years old is when she first started using just one hand instead of the 2, and then got really good really quickly. The beauty of this game is you don't have to be real big or real strong. The balls are light and relatively easy to throw for all ages.
Every pin now, get the 10.
(64-6) for Mike Morgan. 5-pin lead in the game. Now 17 is the lead in the match.
Come on, one of you. All right.
A little extra zip on that ball, and it was enough to clear out the pin on the right. No split to shoot at here.
And perhaps you heard the crowd behind us rooting that pin over. Well, Brian thrown off perhaps by the moving deadwood. And they're waiting for it to settle. But better safe than sorry. And he picks the pin. He'll stop every time if it means coming back and making the shot like that.
We'll never get the whole show in 60 minutes, but he did the right thing. His experience coming through there.
Boy, right on the head pin, a solid 4.
And a great fill. And
is it a 4?
That looks like it's the 8 pin, yes. He would like that pin to go a little bit more to the left by the time it settles down.
I don't think he has a real clear shot at it right here. Well, just missed it.
He went for the wood, and I'm not sure if that's what he really meant to do.
Stick, Brian.
88-8 for Brian Uphold. Trying to break up the split.
I know one thing I'd like to ask Brian after this match, Dick, is during the last commercial break after the 4th frame, Tom Morgan, who's here watching his brother Mike, came down and was giving him a little coaching or a little advice. And I kind of wonder if Brian feels like he's bowling 2 Morgans at once here.
Another 10 box for the master of the 10.
But a little short on marks this game. And that's
he has 2 and Brian has 2.
Keeping it very close in the match, just 2 pin difference.
Well, they gave it a shot.
Yeah, you could see what he was going for, the left side of the 2 pin. Missed it by just inches. They go for the 2 on the right, get the better count.
Okay, Brian, out with the flurry here. Let's go.
7-pin lead in the match right now for Mike Morgan, as Uphold has picked up 5 pins in this game.
But nobody squeezing any bonus money out of us today so far. The runner-up today's match, $250, and the winner goes on to face Tom Morgan for a $1,000 top prize next Sunday.
Every pin, Brian.
$10 for Brian Uphold.
A little too far to the left once again, and a drop of just 4 with some double wood there as well. But a couple pieces of dead wood on the deck that could aid if he hits it just right. Everything but the 3-pin. So 108 is the best he'll do, which is down 10 from his first game of 118. Mike Morgan, though, not setting the world on fire, so it'll be a close third game.
107 for Brian Uphold.
He does need a mark to beat Brian this game.
Right on the head pin and right through the head pin.
Well, he had that that particular shot 4 or 5 frames ago and almost made it. Left only the 3-pin. You go left on this shot because you got that extra piece of wood in the back that you can use. Now he'll go for the 4 on the right side.
And Brian Uphold stands to pick up a couple of pins this box too. It's a 4-pin lead in the match. Box to box with 1 box to go.
He can win this, but he needs a mark and an 8 fill.
Again through the head pin, but talk about the luck of the fall of the pins. Now a spare leave. Put an asterisk next to this box because what almost was, and it turns into a spare. He had a split, was going to have an open frame.
Turn things around, you're right. 8 pins to win this match to continue his lead over Brian Uphold.
A 106 for Mike Morgan. Uphold wins the string by a pin, but takes an 11-pin deficit into the third game. As our totals after 2, it's 236 for Mike Morgan. Brian Uphold, 225. Game 3 of our semifinal match on Candlepin Stars and Strikes is coming up on WNDS TV 50. Mike Morgan leads Brian Uphold 236 to 225 after 2 games of our semifinal match, with the winner advancing to the championship match next week against Tom Morgan. 1 string remains at Lidl Lanes in Nashua. Dick Lutsk with Mike Moran. Happy to have you with us for this exciting match going down to the final string. Morgan right around the head pin. But unlike what we saw 2 weeks ago and for most of last week, he's not getting the fall with his first ball.
And a 10 box for Mike Morgan starting out this third and final game. 1 game away, if he wins, from bowling his older brother, Tom, next week. So there's another level of drama that could be unfolding here.
That's a pocket shot right there. He buried it in the 1-3 pocket.
In 10-pin, that's called the tap. Well, that's the one word we can use on television. I can give you a couple other ones. We don't want to lose the license, so.
Now the wood out in front. It didn't help him. TV roll-offs are ongoing at Leda Lanes in Nashua. And if you would like to be a part of it and perhaps one day find yourself in front of the bright lights on one of our telecasts, I suggest you give Leda Lanes a call. Call Ray Simino or Sean Howard or any of the staff here at Leda Lanes and get the information on when the next roll-off would be. The phone number to call here at Leda Lanes in Nashua, New Hampshire, 603-889-4884. 603-889-4884. Find out when the next TV roll-off is. Get yourself involved. And maybe we'll see you on Candlepin Stars and Strikes on WNDS TV.
And there is a fair amount of money at stake. Gary Carrington, our ladder winner from a couple series ago, in his 3 weeks on, made about $1,900.
With the bonus money and the championship money and everything else.
And he'll be back for even more later in the spring for the Tournament of Champions.
Spare for Brian Uphold.
Well, is anybody going to take charge, Dick, or is this going to go down to the last frame?
I don't know. Neither bowler is setting the world on fire over the last game and a half. And just as I say that, Mike Morgan buries it in the pocket. This time a better shot at the 10-pin, though, with the wood out front.
But think about it. Could easily have been a double strike.
So Mike Morgan responds to Brian Uphold's spare in the second box with a mark of his own in the third. Grabbed the head pin, but a little thin on the left side, crossing over to Brooklyn and a 5-pin drop.
Not a good fill when you have just a mark lead or so. Best he'll get is an 8. Big opportunity for Brian Uphold right here, Dick. If he's going to go, this is the time.
The door is open.
It is indeed. Very opportunistic strike right there as we have another look at Brian's first strike this game.
And it puts it into a virtual dead heat.
Oh, get up. Okay. Not bad, Brian.
4 horsemen on the left side.
Waiting for some wood to settle down.
He bounced it and missed the shot.
Up. Come on, Brian. Let's go. Making this too easy.
9-pin box. 14-pin lead in the game and a 3-pin lead in the match for Brian Uphold after 4 of our third game in the semifinal match on Candlepin Stars and Strikes on WNDS TV 50.
Due to time constraints, we now rejoin our program with Mike Morgan bowling his 7th box in the 3rd game of today's match.
Box to box, the match swings back to Brian Uphold. The runner-up today has $250 and an invitation to come back and try one of the other ladders. Winner today goes on and bowls Tom Morgan, who lost to Joe Ashline in the ladder series final about 3 weeks ago.
Now they're heating up a little bit now.
Nobody has truly been in control of this match today.
Yes.
Second mark in a row for Mike Morgan. 3rd mark in the game. Sets him up for a bonus money opportunity.
Which would be the first today.
Mike, you see the big difference when you're following through here. Do it again.
Yeah, he just missed the head pin, but
well, he gets another pin, but it does make this shot a little bit more difficult. But the variable is the two pieces of wood between the 1 and the 10. What will they do?
put the bonus money back in the vault.
Hate to lose those single pins when the match is so close. Mike looking just a little tentative on the last couple of shots. The pressure gets to everybody at some point.
Brian Uphold working on a spare.
Yeah. Come on, work. Take a couple. All right. Not bad, Brian.
Nice break that the 5-pin went down. This is certainly makeable.
Gotta be low.
4-7-10.
Nice try, Brian. No luck, Brian. No luck.
And this particular frame is up against a Mike Morgan mark.
On the other side.
So he'll lose a little ground here.
All right.
To 10 bucks.
Okay, Brian, you gotta have one here. Don't let up. Let's go.
One, 8, and 9. Very difficult shot, but there is some wood.
Head stick.
Beautiful.
That's a spare. That's a big spare.
Yeah, that was a clutch shot. No two ways about it. But the wood made all the difference, taking the 9-pin out in the back row.
Mikey, 2 big boxes. No one better than you in this situation.
Brian Uphold with a 6-pin lead in the match and a ball.
That is a tough shot.
That's a
There's no
6-pin
wood.
lead in the game and the ball. Mike Morgan has a 5-pin lead minus the ball. That's what it is.
Confusing because it changes every frame. The 9-pin will not go down.
Mikey, get the 10, go 11. Come on, buddy. Come on, gotta go 11 here. Come on. Mikey, reach back for this one right now.
107 through 9 for Mike Morgan.
Needs a mark.
This match is very much in question,
Come on, Mike, gotta have one
with
here.
Brian Uphold working on a spare in the 8th frame.
What a great ball that was. Right in the pocket.
You see the last pin to go down? The same pin that didn't go down earlier twice on similar hits.
Great pocket shot by Mike Morgan. It goes. Two strikes in a row for Mike Morgan, and he is pumped.
You don't suppose Brian Uphold's heart sank down to his feet when that 7-pin fell? Wow. Well, we should mention the triple strike pool here.
$700 shot coming up.
And a ticket to next week's match against his big brother. So there's a lot riding on this.
Come on, Mark, you want to spot the face with a
He took 29 frames to get to the telling tale of today's bowling match. And a double strike working. This is $700 if they all go down.
Six on the fill. 133.
369 triple.
369 triple.
Gotta drop them all right here. Nice loose ball. Do it. Come on.
Very
It goes,
unusual
Brian.
leave.
Come on.
And only a 5 fill.
It goes and you got lots of room.
But he's up against a Mike Morgan Open in the 9th.
lots of room, Brian. Get the 2 pins. There's lots of room. Okay, lots of room. Now you throw double. Let's go.
All right, Mr. Mathematician, what's he need here?
1843.
Let's go, Brian.
He needs about a 127, I do believe. No, that's not right.
He's on the head pin. And I think that just shut it out.
Yeah. Don't ever call me a mathematician again and put that much pressure on me.
A mark.
Yeah, 361 is the best he can do. Wow. A 10-pin victory for Mike Morgan. They came down to the 10th frame, Dick.
134 final. A 10-pin victory for Mike Morgan over Brian Uphold. It really came down to the wire. Both bowlers finishing strongly. And Mike Morgan will meet brother Tom for the championship next week. We'll be back to meet our bowlers at Leda Lanes in Nashua right after this. .369 to 359. It was Mike Morgan beating Brian Uphold in our semifinal match here at Leda Lanes, and Brian Uphold is standing next to me here to receive his $250 runner-up check. And we were talking before we came back on about the double strike at the end being the real big backbreaker.
Yeah, it was. He throws 1 strike, I throw 1 mark. You know, the match goes the other way. He threw the marks when he had to. Neither one of us threw a lot of marks today, but Tommy threw them when he had to.
Brian, congratulations. Thanks for being with us. We'll see you again on Candlepin Stars and Strikes. Brian Uphold from Londonderry, our runner-up here this afternoon, and now Mike Morgan. He knows the routine by now. He comes out, he'll throw a bonus ball, and then we'll try to match it up with a bonus ball contest winner. They're still going. It's a 9. 9 for Mike Morgan in the bonus ball contest. Mike Morgan reaches into the bin, pulls out a nice picture postcard, and it is from Francis Bradbury of Newburyport, Massachusetts, and Francis guessed 8. 8 doesn't match with the 9. A set of mugs from N&R Trophy in Winchendon, Mass. to Francis Bradbury of Newburyport, Massachusetts. You had them all the way there, huh?
Are you crazy or what? I'll tell you, if that second strike didn't fall, I was going home, but somebody's watching over me. Both pins wiggled, they fell. I mean, now he needs 2 marks or a big fell and another. It makes it a lot harder. So
there's been one voice in the background over the last 3 weeks rooting for you. That voice ain't going to be there next week, is it?
Hey, I'll be rooting for him. I hope he throws 30 marks. I'll take half the money. He'll be in the tournament of champs. I can deal with that.
It's Mike Morgan and Tom Morgan next week. Mike, congratulations. We'll see you next week in the championship match. And that sets up a real good one for our final next week.
Well, it's happened 2 other times before on TV 50. Mike Morgan and Tom Morgan. Tom Morgan has never beaten his brother Mike on television, so it sets up a terrific top-of-the-ladder final next week.
Number 5 seed Mike Morgan against number 1 seed Tom Morgan for all the marbles next week. We'll see you as Candlepin Stars and Strikes continues next week from Leda Lanes in Nashua. For Mike Moore and I'm Dick Lutz. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.
The winds of New England, WNDS Dairy.